On the hardwood here, and figure who better to talk about that than Trent Meacham as we get ready to close out this edition of Big Ten Today. A lot of times, Trent, we kind of think of closers being guys with the ball in their hands, who's hitting the step back three to look really cool. But, you know, kind of the world is your oyster when we're talking about who do you think are the best closers in the Big Ten Conference. And you're actually starting up with a big man. I'm
going to start with a big man in Zach Edey because simply he's the best player in college basketball, and he's done it to close out games. Even this year, they didn't win it, but had a key tip-in at the final seconds to force an overtime game at Northwestern. Last year at Michigan State, when Tyson Walker's hitting a bunch of big shots, who does Purdue go in the final seconds? Painter draws up a great play. Zach Edey finishes to win that game. He also, you think of a big guy, he's getting to the free throw line 10 times a game. He makes 7.5 of those a game. And he's made numerous times closeout games. The only issue, Anthony, with Zach Edey is they're not close enough to games. But when Purdue needs a big bucket, they're going to him to finish out games.
Well, we have seen one of the names you mentioned there. Tyson Walker is one of the players who he's played in a number of close games the last couple of seasons for Michigan State.
That's a bad boy, you know, in the closing moments. And a couple of years ago against Purdue, he hits a game winner over Trevion Williams to finish that game. Last year, hit numerous shots against Purdue. Just Zach Edey just upstaged him in that matchup. But what I love about Walker is, while he doesn't play like Steph Curry in terms of his game, how he shoots, how he moves, he's one of those guys that's very rare. He's great with the ball in his hands, can you know, with his handle and pulling up for a shot, but also moving without the ball. That's very rare. So for opposing coaches, opposing defenses, you always have to be aware of Tyson Walker, his abilities with or without the ball.
And for a team like Northwestern that plays in as many close games as they do, and sometimes in really hotly contested environments, to have a guy at the point like Boo Buie, who Chris Collins at times can just say, you know what, it's crunch time. Give it to Boo and get out of the way. He's made a bunch of plays in that regard.
Is the clear choice in our conference. Best clutch player has been Boo Buie. When you think about Northwestern, the history of their basketball program, the greatest moments, Bowie's got to be up there about half of the time. So whether it's twice against Purdue, defeating number one, he's made clutch shot after clutch shot. Obviously, the big game you were just referencing going to last season against Indiana at home and making the buzzer-beating floater at the end of the game, his patented get to the right hand in the paint floater. Even just recently against Maryland, hits the go-ahead bucket in the final minute, and then defensively does a great job on Jameer Young to force a tough shot. So Boo Buie, time after time, and I'm looking forward to see what else he has for us this season.
There will be a lot to come here with some of these other players as well. Maybe Jameer Young with key
There's some
moments.
other good ones for sure.
Yeah, a lot of great options. Kate St. Tomanaga's had it as well. For Trent Meacham, I'm Anthony Herron. Our thanks to Matt Painter and Bill Rabinowitz. Suits and Sneakers.